Hello all and welcome to Tradesmo. In this video I'm going to show you my best two methods I use in order to lay permanent vinyl on the wine glass. So first things first, I use these nice convenient alcohol pads and I use that to rub the glass down, and I generally follow it with a paper towel to dry it off, or you can let it air dry after you put the alcohol on. So the first method we're going to go through is what I call the eyeball method. And this is where you pretty much put the decal on, look at the glass, and figure out the way you want it to lay. Of course, glasses have a curved surface, so they're hard to place on glass. So what I do is cut off the excess transfer tape first, because you don't need all that transfer tape. It might make it harder to place it on the glass. And then I use my scissors to cut slits in different places on the transfer tape. Don't cut through the vinyl, just cut different things. This makes the decal more flexible for you to be able to move it on the curved surface. So I'm going to stand up and put the decal on, and I'm eyeballing the glass to see how I want it to lay. So you're going to carefully peel your transfer tape. Make sure that all the pieces of the decal transfer onto the transfer tape. And what you're going to do is you're going to carefully place the center of the glass or the decal on the glass. I start with the middle of the decal, and because I cut those slits in there, it made it easy for me to try to mold the decal to the curves. So when you got it placed the way you want to, you're going to start from the middle, and then you're going to work your finger out to the edges, slowly and carefully. See, this first part of the video, I'm going to do it in real time so you can see how slow I'm actually working. The other methods I'm going to do, I'm going to speed the video up because it's pretty much doing the same process. So you're slowly going to put that decal on the glass. And I'm going to put a paper towel in here so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better with the background. And now you take your smoothing tool, burnishing tool, or whatever it's called, and go ahead and press that permanent vinyl onto the glass to make it adhere better. And your main objective here is to make sure that you're pushing all the air bubbles out. Then you're going to carefully and slowly lift your transfer tape off of the decal. And one thing, rule of thumb, if you pull it one way and the decal starts to come up, try to pull it in a different direction and it should work out. But you see, this is the finished product and it's straight. So the next method we're going to do is we're going to use a guideline in order to put the decal on the glass. So I'm going to use a stemless wine glass for this one. And this decal I'm going to use is going to be one with a diva face, like a picture decal. So to make a guideline, you pick something, a container that you can put, and that's just a little permanent marker that I'm using. And I'm using some packing tape just to push the marker down on the container that I chose so it doesn't move around. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to place that marker and slowly turn the glass to create a straight line. And we're going to use this method for different things. So keep it in mind for future videos. Now that line that I created is kind of high for this glass. I like to have it in the middle, but it's still going to serve the purpose because we're still going to use this guideline to place our decal. It kind of helps you be able to figure out what's a straight line. So that's the line we ended up with. And don't worry about it because it's a permanent marker, because those little alcohol pads that I showed you earlier, and I will have a link to them in the comments, takes that line right off of the glass. So with that being said, this is the decal that we're going to use. And I'm kind of eyeballing it to see how I'm going to use the guideline. And then we're going to cut off the excess transfer tape like we did with the other one. And we're going to do the same process we did and cut different slits in the transfer tape. Now usually what I do with these is I put this decal on the glass and then I use rhinestones and pearls to bead out and embellish the hair. So for these type of decals, I cut into the vinyl in maybe one place to help the vinyl lay. But that's only because, like I just said, I use it and I embellish it, so I cover up the hair anyway on these type of glasses. If you don't and you have the decal only, I don't recommend that you cut into the decal, because whoever's you're gonna give the glass to will see that cut. So I'm eyeballing, and right there where you saw me take off some of that line, it's because I don't want the permanent marker underneath the decal. So I'm just erasing the part of the line that's going to be where I'm placing the decal. And like the previous example, I started from the middle and I'm working my way out to the edges, trying to get as much of the air bubbles out as I can. And first and foremost, I have to say, it takes practice, practice, practice to do these. So even mine aren't perfect. And I'm just taking off the decal slowly. I lost an eyebrow, so I had to put it back down again. So that's why it's imperative again that you go slow. I sped this up because we're just doing the same steps over and over again. I'm using my tool to get the air bubbles out, or at least as many as I can. These are hard for me to do these type of decals, so it's taking me a little bit longer trying to get it all flat to the glass. Then I'm taking that alcohol pad and I'm taking off the rest of that black line that goes around it. Trying to get some smoothing out. And that's my finished product on that one. See, I see the cuts where I sliced into it, but this would be perfect because again, I bling it out. So all that slits are going to be covered up. So our last example is using the same guideline method, but this is with multiple lines. So this is a 3-liner, best subs ever, that stands for you. Same process, I'm taking the alcohol pad, cleaning off the glass. And for this glass, since it's taller glass, I found something to do that same method. I'm just holding this down with the pen and I'm going around, and see that made a nice straight line. And for this one, I decided that I'm gonna let the line go between the subs and the ever. So I'm doing the same process. I'm cutting the slits between each line, and then I'm cutting it at the top and the bottom, so that way we have flexibility in order to place it on the glass. Remove it carefully. I lost the T, so I have to go back in and get it again. Then I'm going to use that guideline, start in the middle, put the line in between the subs and the ever like we said, and using my cuts to try to figure out how I want it on the glass. It's not going to be straight, so please get that thought out of your head because of the fact that this is indeed a curved glass, so it will not be straight. You're going to have bends in it. That's just natural. So once you go from the middle to the outside, you're going to carefully take your transfer tape. It might take several times to do it. If it starts coming up one way, then you're going to have to try it to go in a different direction. And again, take your time. And I'm just carefully peeling it up. Now, the longer that vinyl sits on the glass, the air bubbles take themselves out. So don't worry if you can't get it out the first time. If you let it sit, it will come out. And then I'm just using my alcohol swab to remove the black line. And that is it. That is basically it. Thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. As usual, I appreciate you.